Kennedy Agyapong loses support. Kennedy Agyapong was born somewhere in 1960. So he's 65 years young. He's a man who wants to be the next president of Ghana. He tried the last time and he was beaten to it by Dr. Bawumia at the primary level. So he couldn't even get the chance to contest as president. But this time around, he has told himself that he would make it. This is Kennedy Agyapong. He was MP for so many different tenures. People know him as a crazy philanthropist. He has his bad sides and he also has his good sides. In fact, Kennedy Agyapong started with a lot of grassroots support. A lot of people seeing him as a man who rose from the dust and was able to make it big. Kennedy Agyapong. He told us his story. How he sold PK and candies on the streets of Accra. And he was able to rise to becoming the businessman that he is. And even becoming an MP. Before he left the Parliament House of Ghana, he said Parliament had become so cheap that every Tom, Dick and Harry could just be part of Parliament. And he left. This is Kennedy Agyapong. He is very vitriolic when it comes to his talking, articulating his views. Sometimes he uses expletives. He will insult your mother something, your father something. Use unprintable words when he gets angry. Because of that, many have said that he is not an office material. But a lot of the youth followed him because they could resonate with his story. Rising from wherever he was to where he is now. This is Kennedy Agyapong. For some time now, it looks like Kennedy is losing a lot of support. I was here to make it clear that I have withdrawn all my support for Kennedy Agyapong because I felt that he had become a tribal bigot. I don't mince words, just like him. This was a man that I felt that, oh, the youth are coming around him. He's inspiring them. All of a sudden, we are the kings. We are the royals. Don't allow any slave to come and take over our party at a time when his dirty political party called the NPP, a party that calls itself patriotic, yet doesn't have that word in the dictionary of the party. My brother, my sister, at the time that they are throwing shades at Bawumia and calling him a slave just because of where he's coming from, and MPs, sitting MPs who are not even ashamed to say that somebody came to serve the party as a slave. And once the work is done, the person has to go away. The person should never ever try to come back and try to be a king when he should be a slave. Tribalism. So shameful. Whilst we're coming to terms with these very terrible, shameful thoughts and views, Kennedy Agyapong went all the way to Buakwa, Achime Buakwa, and shamefully, he also traded in some of these tribal bigotry and tirades. What did he tell the people? He said, I go to the north, and my supporters, they are telling me that chiefs are saying that if they support me, they would banish them. I go to the north. They've all come together to support one candidate. You are my people. We are the royals. Why can't you come together and support me too? You should be doing that. Or else you will remain slaves forever. And those who were supposed to be slaves would become kings over you. When I saw that tape and we played it here, I was so disappointed that I ever gave this man my thoughts that, oh, he would help the youth at least. I don't want his party to ever come into power. No. It's a party that is beyond dirty. Nana Addo should be in jail, rotting up in his old age for what he has done to our country. Cathedral. Look at the number of thieves and alleged armed robbers, from national security all the way down to messengers. Everyone was stealing at the blind side of this irresponsible president. And Kennedy, who was criticizing his own party, all of a sudden descended into the gutters of tribal bigotism. I raised my hands and said, Kennedy, I have given up on you. No way. The only way I will support you is when you withdraw what you said, apologize to the people of Ghana, and tell them that at the time that we're saying this, your head was not working. Like Kwekwaji, my man, who told us when he led us to contract some kind of criminals to get the Sputnik V vaccine for the people of Ghana in the days of COVID. We all remember that story. He has not apologized. He is still there. And then I realized that Musa Dankwa, the most renowned pollster of Ghana right now, with all respect, came out with statistics, and Kennedy is falling deeper and deeper and deeper down. A group called me from Italy, and they said, Black, in fact, we started to support Kennedy because of the good things you said about him. We even formed a club. We meet. The club is growing. Now we are all dissipated. I applauded. I said, thank you. My brother, my sister, I am not ashamed to give somebody like Kennedy Agyapong a chance. And I'm not ashamed to come back and say, listen, I have withdrawn that. But in the coming elections, the primaries, Musa Dankwa, a renowned pollster, who for some time now has always been correct, or mostly been correct, with his statistics. This is science, it's not magic. Has thrown Kennedy down, 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 down. And Bawumia is gone up, 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 up. At first, he was riding high. But tribalism, bigotism, carelessness, media has brought him down. And I'm happy. Now, there is a tape going around where Kennedy Agyapong is heard, saying that he wants to be the next Kwame Nkrumah. He is saying that in 8 years, that means 2 terms, he wants to be able to break the record of Kwame Nkrumah. Before I make any comment, let's listen to that tape and I fire back. Watch this.
My imagine say Ghana see a money opportunity. Me aim is say me beat Dr. Kwame Nkrumah record. Come in role model.
Any Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
Yes. Wow. Because Dr. Kwame Nkrumah president, na Ghana population is 4 million.
Wow.
When the vision in Myanmar is still relevant today with the population of 33.6 million. Argentina, so universities, Asasia and Nkrumah G that time, even secondary schools. Yeah. And Sasia or G Edimawo, Usha Ukokulebu, Asasia or G2A, Demi Nkrumah de were great. Although me a UPD, but maybe a Debbie American for 9 years of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah at Tia Ghana, and then I'm present a beating record. I'm going to go by development. The biggest challenge in this country now is unemployment, especially youth unemployment.
Well, my brother, my sister, well spoken. I love Kwame Nkrumah. Even though I'm from the UP tradition, those who hated Nkrumah, vilified Nkrumah, chased him out of this nation, I stand alone because he was such a great visionary. How can you be Kwame Nkrumah as a tribal bigot? How? How can you beat Kwame Nkrumah's record when you are engaged in tribal tirades that you are refusing to apologize for? Kwame Nkrumah, listen, went round to bring the Ewes to come and join this country called Ghana. At the time, Ashanti Kingdom was saying that they didn't want to be part of Ghana. He said, Ashanti Kingdom said, no, this land, we want to even call it Akan land. Nkrumah said, oh, Dabi. The Ashanti Kingdom said, no, ya tiaho. Bafo ya wakoto in the palace of the Asante Hine. Didn't want to see any other ethnic group join. My brother, my sister, Nkrumah went all the way to the Volta region, begged the Voltarians to come out of Togoland. Leave them. Mumbra, this is your land. Toby, Amega, Hoho, come. They said, you don't know the trouble you are drawing us into. We don't want to be part of any tribal state. Jakpatabeda vio, monye kuo. Nkrumah begged and begged. Using SS Alassani, he drew this man to the northern region and salvaged them from another state, part of Togoland. Volta, the Ewes, the Northerners, they were part of the Volta. Nkrumah said, Dabi, we are one people. Come, forget about Yati and home. Come together. And he brought all of them together. And you know what Nkrumah did? He banned all tribal parties. No tribalism in Ghana. No religiousness in politics. You can't have the Muslim Brotherhood Party or Christian Fellowship Party, Hare Krishna, Hare Party. No, that was what Nkrumah did. He brought all of us together. Today, if we are enjoying the beauty of all the ethnic groups in Ghana coming together, entertaining us with so many different cultures, is because of Kwame Nkrumah. Today, if you want to beat Nkrumah, tribalism should never be part of your dictionary. And Kennedy has failed. How can you beat Nkrumah when you are a tribal bigot? Tell me how. The people that you said you want to give employment to. And sadly, I'm told that it's only in the Volta region, according to Musa Dankwa's report, that Kennedy Agyapong got some votes. All the other regions, Baomia won, according to Musa Dankwa's statistics. So that means even the Ewes, the Voltarians, you should go there and say, Akpe kaka, oh Akpe siya, Akpe mauna yerao. But you are sitting down, calling yourself a king. You are sitting down, calling other people slaves. No, I want to be decorous. I don't want to overstep. The man has been so kind to me. He's given me money before. When I was traveling to America, the last time, he called me. He said, oh, Black, Matisse will call America. Sir, and the Brabeji dollars. I went, he gave me $2,000. It helped me. Because, Minister, somebody has given me his hard-earned $2,000 to go to America. Hey, when I went to America, I was walking like a rich man. $2,000 in my pocket. I know many people will be laughing, but I was happy to have $2,000. And that was not the first time he gave me money. And he promised me more money. He told me, Black, we are doing Kuchoko Roots Festival. Come on Wednesday and collect some money. I won't mention how much he said he was going to give, but it was good money. Then over the weekend, he went on a tribal tirade. I said, I'm not going for that money. Keep that money. I don't need it. Now, there's a guy called Atachia. He's the most uncomfortable lawyer in Ghana today. In fact, when he walks in the sun, his head shines like a mirror. Heat. He went to school with Kennedy Agyapong at the saddle. They were there together. Hey, recently he praised Kennedy Agyapong. But because of these tribal tirades emanating from the mouth of Kennedy Agyapong and other vituperations, listen to what Atachia said. My brother, my sister. He said, don't elect a leader who would insult world figures at the UN. And this is Atachia telling delegates. Former Minister for Works and Housing and senior lawyer Samuel Atachia has urged new patriotic party delegates to exercise sound judgment as they prepare to select the next flag bearer. He warned against electing anyone who may embarrass Ghana on the international stage. Speaking at a gathering of party faithfuls at Mpraesu in the eastern region, Mr. Atachia cautioned delegates not to make a mistake and elect someone who would insult world leaders when he travels to the United Nations. Mr. Atachia stressed that Ghana's global reputation must remain intact, particularly at high-level platforms such as the UN General Assembly, where decorum and diplomacy are crucial. According to the former minister, the next leader must possess the temperament, the maturity, and statesmanship required to engage. That's the only part I agree with Atachia on. As for diplomacy and blah, 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 Nkrumah was not a diplomat. He spoke directly to the people. No, we don't want imperialism. No, we won't take this. No, we won't be nations of Africa that only supply with raw materials. We want to industrialize. That's not a diplomat. But this is what I agree with Atachia on. He said, we must possess, that leader must possess the temperament. Not a leader who is going to make the end of year submissions in parliament, and then on the way, a little child crosses him on a bicycle, and then he gets angry and he goes to insult everybody's father and mother and call all of us slaves. No. Maturity and statesmanship. That's what he said. Statesmanship. What is statesmanship? Bringing everybody together under one umbrella. And in his own words, what did he say? Let's not make a mistake to elect someone who would insult world leaders when he travels to the United Nations. While Mr. Atachia did not name the target of his comment, observers believe he was referring to Mr. Echamp. And even the portal, Joy Online, couldn't say some of the vituperations Atachia said. Atachia in his own words, do we have the video? In his own words, said, don't vote for a leader who go to the UN and say, motherfucker. Did you hear that? Motherfucker. I don't know what that means. I don't use words like that, so I don't know what that means. It's when I go to America, I hear people say that, but I've never asked them what that means. Because when people are happy, they still say motherfucker. When they are sad and insulting each other, say motherfucker. Attaching. My brother, my sister. Over to you, Kennedy. You have lost a lot of support. The people who admired you, like some of us, even though we knew that your party will never come into power, despite what everyone says. We didn't expect that you will stoop low like those other people. And his supporters say, oh, you know what? But Bawumia is also doing it. That's why we don't like Bawumia. That's why I don't want to see Bawumia. That's why Bawumia is not my friend. And other well-meaning people, they don't want Bawumia. If Bawumia is going around talking religion and tribes and ethnic groups, let him be. You have the support. See how cheaply you gave out the support. It's a black pot, aka Kokoshonemo, where we speak truth to power.